Hello and welcome to the Reclaim podcast. My name's Connie Stowers, the Real Skater.
And I'm Melissa Harrison, Fierce Feminine.
And we're here to remind you that nobody is coming to save you. And this is our 9th and final episode of season 1.
We've done a whole season.
Did a whole season. Congratulations.
Congratulations to you.
And we chose 9. So 9's always actually been my favorite number. I was born on 9/29. I was born at 9/27. And in doing some research with like numerology, 9 is considered one of the most powerful numbers for a lot of reasons, but a lot of it has to do with it's the completion of a cycle, right? Last single digit number before you go into double digits. So
we didn't even plan it that way.
We did not, but I'm
that.
excited about the number 9.
I love us. It's so great.
And on today's episode of Sesame Street, the number 9, brought to you by the number 9. But, you know, speaking about powerful things, we wanted to end this season with something we've talked about throughout the entire season, but also it's such a huge part of how we operate in our daily lives.
Yes.
And that is manifesting.
Yes.
Manifestations. And if you think it's a bunch of cuckoo, hoo-ha, you probably just haven't tried it or done it right. Because it is it's not just saying words. And I think people get confused. Like, well, I've said every day that I'm rich and I'm still
Where's
not rich.
The money?
Where's the money? I'm always reading a lot of different books as you are. And I'm rereading a book called Ninja Selling right now. And one of the things it talks about is you can't get into the manifestation mindset until you've shown gratitude for what you already have. We cannot manifest new things until we're grateful for what we have right in this moment. And I think we forget about that.
Well, how deep are we going into manifestation?
How deep you want to go, baby? Let's
Well, I think that gratitude, and we talked a few episodes ago about how I feel about fake gratitude. Sometimes you need to just find the least sucky thing in the moment and be grateful for that. But you're so spot on about being grateful for whatever's happening in this moment, because this one moment is actually all there ever is. And we just look at it from different perspectives. Everything we want is here, and we can't even feel gratitude for what we're perceiving that we're experiencing. We don't let in, like our lens is like we put blinders on and we can't let in all the other things that are actually right there for us.
Well, and you have to make a decision. Are you going to be a player or are you going to be a victim? And when we think about showing gratitude for where I am, so there's somebody out there listening to this right now that's like, where I am, I lost my job, like my marriage is falling apart, I can't lose weight, someone just, like all of the things that can bring us down and keep us in this low vibrational energy. And if you can find a way to say, what is this teaching me? What am I learning from this experience? As hard as this moment is, what am I going to take out of it? How am I going to be a player and not a victim? Because the law of vibration, it works in both directions. So like is going to attract like. And if you sit there and say, everything is shitty and everything keeps going wrong and that's just my luck, guess what? That will continue to be your luck.
Right, because it keeps the same lens on. Because ultimately, right, like we're the ones who give meaning to everything in our lives. You and I could experience the exact same thing, the exact same circumstance, but give it very different meaning and so have very different outcomes. But you're right. If you keep telling that story, like I say to people all the time, what story are you telling? Are you telling the story, my life is shitty, I have horrible luck? Yeah, well, you're going to keep having it because that's the only lens that you're using to see the world.
And if you are radiating negative energy, you're going to attract other people who are also radiating that negative energy. Like misery loves company is a very true statement.
You can't even see. There could be 100 positive people. Mostly, I mean, okay, like it's not 100%. We all have a mix. But there could be 100 mostly positive people in the room and one negative. But if you have those, if you're radiating that negative vibe, if you have those blinders on, then that's the only one you're going to see.
Yeah, and I think everyone has a different approach to it. Like I'm pretty hardcore about the fact that I do not allow thoughts in my brain that have like a negative connotation. Now, I'm a little bit more extreme than others may be about it. I'm very strict with myself, and I change the conversation in my brain often, right? So if my initial thought is, I had such a shitty day today, I immediately will shift that thought to, today presented a lot of opportunities that I could learn from. And how are we not going to do that again?
Yeah.
And it is a very conscious decision to take that thought process and turn it around. The mindset that you have to build, like it's tough. You have to really work at that. That's not something that just happens one day you wake up and decide like, I'm going to think positive thoughts all the time. I'm going to go live in Never Ever Land.
Well, there's so much momentum. We're taught and we're surrounded by and pummeled with all of that negativity that there's a lot of momentum.
Well, and you have to make the decision to choose to respond to the negative in a positive way rather than allowing it to determine how you're going to act, right? Like you take that negative experience and decide. I was sharing a story, an example from the book. And this is a book that's for really like anyone who likes to sell, but it is geared more towards realtors.
Yeah.
And one of the stories is this guy decided to like leave his full-time job, quit his salary career, become a real estate agent, go full-time and go all in. And like a couple of days before he started as a full-time realtor, he fell off a horse and like broke his neck.
Oh my God.
And the doctors were like, okay, good news. You're alive. Bad news. You're going to be laid up for a long time.
Yeah.
Like at least 6 weeks minimum. And in that moment, he had to make a choice, right? And I think a lot of people, the choice might be, how could this have happened to me? This is so awful. What am I going to do? And I need to call my job back and see if I can come back. But instead, he decided to use that time in his bed to make phone calls, to tell everyone he knew that he was going into real estate, to learn as much as he could, to just, he took the controllables in his scenario and he took that negative situation and made it a positive, and he like approached it in a positive way.
Yeah.
And he made $300,000 that year in his first year.
And I would say on an even deeper level, he was acting as if he was a successful real estate agent.
Absolutely.
Even from the bed with a broken neck. Like that's when they say circumstances don't matter. People don't want to hear that because the circumstances are heavy and they grab us. I mean, really, we're grabbing onto them, but you can't let that dictate how you're going to behave. You have to decide, well, what would I be doing if? And then go do it as best you can.
And your brain is going to have pre-programming in it that it wants you to believe certain things, right?
For sure.
If you're manifesting that, I make $300,000 a year, and in your brain's telling you like, no, you don't. No, you stop that. You don't make that. How could you ever make that? Right. You're pre-programmed to believe that you're not capable of accomplishing that.
Yeah.
And so there becomes this moment where you have to rewire your brain to think past your limiting beliefs.
Yep.
In order to truly claim what's yours. Because if you are someone who believes in the power of manifesting, you believe it is already yours. It already belongs to me. It's already mine.
That's right.
And in order for it to be mine, though, truly, I have to believe it. We talked about this in the last episode. Like, I don't truly believe I'm worthy yet of a loving, healthy, beautiful relationship. And so I can't find one yet because I don't believe it yet.
That's just have different lenses on. It's okay. They're getting clear.
We're getting clear. We're getting clear. But I understand that until I believe that until I exceed that limiting belief, I'm not going to be able to like manifest that kind of love into my life.
Right.
Right. And I think that's the big part of manifesting is like, you have to even fake it till you make it sometimes of, I am a millionaire. I am a multimillionaire. I run a successful business. It makes millions of dollars a year, but really I have $5 in my account. Doesn't matter. This is the future that you envision for yourself. And therefore you have to live and breathe it as if it's now. That person who makes $1 million, what does their habits look like? What are they doing every day? Right. How does she dress? How does she speak? What people have access to her? All of those things.
And one of the best tools that I found to do this is to create an alter ego. Have you played with that at all?
Constance is my alter ego. When people call me, when people do you like Constance or Connie? I'm like, oh, well, if we're in negotiations, Constance.
That's right.
If I have to feel like a badass, it's Constance.
That's right.
When I get more comfy and cozy and knowing you, then I'm Con or Connie. But yeah, I think like Constance is my alter ego.
Yeah,
she's fierce.
And then you just decide, okay, and what does she eat? What does she wear? How does she make her decisions? What does she do with her money? What does she do in her free time? And then you honor that as best you can.
What's interesting is the first time I read this book, Ninja Selling, I was straight from I had just gotten separated. I had just moved into my new condo.
Yeah.
Still almost 300 pounds. I was like living by myself for the first time ever. So before living by myself, I really wasn't great at like keeping a house clean or just having any kind of organization or any kind of scheduling. And I remember listening to this book and all the things it was telling me to do and thinking about how impossible all those things felt. Like, that's not me. I could never do all this stuff. This isn't how I run my business.
Right.
And now 2 years later, I'm listening to the same audiobook. Actually, wow, 3 years later. Yeah, 3 years later. I'm listening to the same audiobook and I'm listening to the suggestions they're making, and not just in running my business, but your mindset and your life. And I'm like, that is me now. That's me. I'm here. I'm ready to receive this message. Here I am.
You know, one of the most powerful manifestations, if you will, that I experienced was buying my house. I had so many limiting beliefs saying I could not own it. I had my mother in my ear. You can't handle, it's too much. And I rented a townhouse years ago. And I remember as soon as I moved in, I said, treat this house as if you owned it. Everything you do it as if you owned it. And the reason this story was so powerful was because on paper, it made 0 sense that I could buy this house. I didn't have the down payment. I didn't have none of it. None of it made any sense. And I remember after about 4 months of living in this rented townhouse and treating it, though, as if I owned it, I had this knowing hit me. I'm going to buy a house this year. And I'm like, what rational mind was like, you're fucking crazy. You can't, all of the limiting beliefs came up. But I kept following that. And I was like, but I am a homeowner. I've been doing this for a while now. I've got this. And within 8 months, I bought my house. And that's a whole magical story. That could be like a whole other conversation. But I think it's really important to remember that when you start stepping into a new identity, it is going to feel wonky and your brain is going to lose its shit because it wants to keep you, it thinks safe. And so it's going to come up with all the reasons that you've ever heard in your entire life, and then some, probably past lives too, right? Like that you just can't have the thing. And your job is to just ignore that and keep going.
Yeah, and ignoring the noise, being able to fuel it yourself. I have a lot of, obviously when you have a lot of followers, you get a lot of feedback, and I get so much positive feedback. Like I get so many people who say such kind, wonderful, loving things to me, and it definitely fills my cup. But I have made a commitment to myself that regardless of the wonderful things or regardless of the horrible things, really what matters is who I am every day and how I show up and how I show up for myself and what do I think about me. Because God forbid, but like if Instagram goes away tomorrow and there isn't 100 people telling me how wonderful and beautiful and great I am every day, it can really screw with your psyche, When you build the social media presence, you are getting a lot of external validation all the time and a lot of attention all the time. And I do find myself being burnt out by it sometimes because it feeds me. It's, it's like, okay, I'm hungry for it. I need to make another viral video.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying to be conscientious of that because the power that I have is going to always be fueled by what I have inside and what I can give myself,
have you heard,
by everybody else.
That's right. And have you heard it's in me, not on me?
I haven't. I like that.
Which is what that is. Like everything could be stripped away from you and you'd build it back and more because it's in you, not on you.
That's a good one. I like that one.
And that really ties into this whole manifestation topic, right? Because ultimately, we're not looking to get things. our five senses, they're so seductive.
Mm.
But ultimately, it's a feeling. It's something inside that we want. And so when we keep coming back to that, it's in me, what's in me, what am I feeling? The outside world will rearrange itself to deliver. It kind of goes back to what you were saying. If you're giving off a negative vibe, you're going to get negative back.
Mm.
And at our core, it's not negative. It's calm, it's pure, it's peaceful. And joy. It's joy, it's excitement, it's all those things.
I think that manifestation has become a hot topic where people, like I said, I think people think it's just about the words you say.
Yeah.
But it's about embodying the life that you envision for yourself, claiming it as if it's already yours, believing deep down in your core, this is what I'm meant for, and I have to walk this path regardless of how uncomfortable it feels.
And even if there's no evidence yet, especially if there's no evidence. That's my favorite.
Faith is even if.
That's right.
Faith is not what if. Fear is what if. Faith is even if. A picture popped up yesterday. It was, 4 years ago today. And 4 years ago today, it's me holding little baby Autumn, who at that point was just like a month old. And I looked at the girl in the picture and I thought to myself, that girl had no idea what was to come.
Oh, yeah.
She had no idea. Mm-hmm. She had no idea all the pain she was about to face, and she had no idea all the glory that was on the other side of that pain.
Yes.
And had I not sat down in January of 2021 and started writing out manifestations for the first time and started writing out what I envisioned a life to be that felt authentic to me and that felt like it was the right way to go. Had I not done that, I don't know that I ever would have left. Because I don't know, if I had never envisioned what could have been, I never would have done it because I wouldn't have known.
And I think it's so important that you share and own what's been really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people who enter this manifestation space, there's coaches are a dime a dozen out there saying, all you got to do is say these affirmations and just, flip your thoughts all the time. And it's all you have to do. Once you get started on this, like you've had to go through hell, if you will, and back to get to this place. And that doesn't mean that it's ebbs and flows always in life.
Right.
But if you think manifestation is this, just think positive and everything will work out. Just say your affirmations. And then you get to the real stuff where it's hard and you're diving in and you have to be so completely raw and honest with yourself. You really got to meet yourself. And you think, oh, I'm doing it wrong. And then you stop. That's when people are like, well, it's bullshit. It doesn't work.
Right.
Because like you said, when we first started the episode, you just haven't really tried it. You got to go through this hell before you can come out.
Yep. And it is not all rainbows and butterflies.
Oh,
it's not. And
you get tossed a rainbow every now and again, so you keep going. It's like, it really is pretty.
Wait, hold on. I didn't find the pot of gold yet. Just stay right there. But the beauty of it is, like, as you see certain things come to fruition, as you see your life start to form in this way that is, hey, I wrote these ideas down on paper and I spoke them to the universe as if they're true. And now 6 months later, or a year later, or 3 years later, it's all true. What else can I manifest? What else can I
then
make
it gets
come
fun.
true? Then it gets really fun. Then it gets really fun. Like, hold on a minute. What else do we have here? But I think it also goes back to, you have to always come back to gratitude, though, and also thank yourself and thank your higher power and thank your universe for getting you this far. Be grateful for what you have today before you ask to bring on more. And think about the things you're asking for, right? Like, I've found myself manifesting, like, I make $5 million a year. And then I'm like, well, is that really what I want to manifest? Or do I want to manifest that I work in a business that provides me enough monetary value to live a healthy and beautiful life, doing something that I feel wonderful doing every day.
Yeah.
Because like I could go make $5 million a year on OnlyFans if I wanted to.
That's right.
Have you seen my ass? But that's not my path, right? Like, and for other people, that is. And that's, once again, like, what is your path?
Right.
So for me, making money isn't the goal. How I make the money is the goal, right?
Because if you're not being authentic, it all falls apart anyway.
Yeah. I also sleep every night. I listen to some kind of vibrational energy.
Yeah.
And when I feel like things are slipping business wise, I always listen to like Manifest Money vibrations. And I swear, like the next day I'll wake up and it'll be like 3 people message me about wanting to sell a house. And I'm like, yes, got it. You know, like whatever it is you believe. But it's I think the belief you have in yourself to accomplish the things that you write down that you want to achieve. It starts with just having that belief, and it starts there.
And I agree. And I would add that it's also about letting yourself receive them. Oftentimes we think it's so much about go, get, force, rah, like that will get you a certain amount for sure. What I've experienced is the letting go and the not forcing and letting myself have it has produced more magic than all of the force that I did for 2 decades.
Believing that you deserve it.
Well, right, because you can't receive it unless you believe that you deserve it, for sure. Yeah.
It'll ping pong right off.
Oh, yeah, fast.
That's it, guys. That's season 1.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our channel. Keep an eye out for what's next to come. We don't know yet. We'll see.
We have some ideas.
We have some ideas. So if you want to reclaim your life, maybe start this season from episode 1. Listen to it through. We can't wait to hear your feedback, hear your thoughts. Please write to us and share with us your own journey and your own stories. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
Me too.
To be able to share.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much.
Love you guys.
Remember, nobody's coming to save you. Go save yourself.